and I'm over here trying not to have my baby in the car. What am I feeling? Get that shit out of me.
Just see those sleigh bells jingling, ring, tingle, tingling. I'm on to lovely weather for a sleigh ride together with you. Outside snow is falling and friends are calling you. I'm on to lovely weather for a sleigh ride together with you. Just see those.
Hi guys, I feel so good just sitting here in front of you guys, in front of my camera, filming this because I've been MIA. I'm aware. I apologize for that. If you're new here, my name's Daisy, and this is going to be my labor and delivery story. So I'm going to kind of talk you guys through what happened. Hopefully it's fast, because let me tell you guys, my labor was super fast. It was 4.5 hours. But if you guys are returning subscribers, thank you so much for coming back. I did just have my baby girl on October 22nd. She's getting so big, and I've been meaning to film this, but here we are. So I'm just going to tell you guys how things went down. If you guys want to see my labor and delivery vlog, I'll leave that down below. I'll leave our first 24 hours in the hospital down below. I'll leave our first week together down below. If you want to meet my daughter, I'll leave her 1 week update down below. I'll leave all that down below if you guys want to catch up and check those out. Okay, so on October, my due date, okay, let me give you guys a background. This was my second labor and delivery. I do have a 2-year-old. His name is Jaden. I had him vaginally. I did get the epidural. I was induced. I have a whole story on that, so if you guys want to check that out, go ahead. I'm just giving you like the general information on that. My labor was 15 hours. So once my water broke with Jaden, I think it was only like 4 hours, and then I had him. So I feel like that went by fast, but just wait, just you wait until you hear this labor and delivery with my baby girl. So my due date for this pregnancy was November 2nd. And I had a 38-week checkup with my doctor on October 21st. So that day I was 38 weeks and 2 days. And she, you know, I made a whole video on that, so I'll leave that one down below too, how the appointment went and stuff and how I was feeling. But basically she checked me and I was only 1 centimeter dilated, and she said I'm only 1 centimeter, but she can feel the head. And she was like, the way she said it, it just like made me think like, okay, how soon is this baby coming? And she didn't give me like an estimated day or anything, but she just told me like, just be ready, because I feel like she's going to be here very, very soon. And I was like, okay, cool. Like I figured, because I had Jaden at 38 weeks, I just kind of like assumed she would be here around that time too. So whatever, I go home, mind my own business. We did go on a walk. There's a park nearby, so we walk around the park twice, so that's about 1.5 miles. I wouldn't do that every day, but I'd try to do it like every other day or every 2 days or whatever. So we did it that day, and I came home. I had some tea, so I had 2 packets of the red raspberry leaf tea. I'm probably saying that wrong, but I'll leave it down below, the one that I was drinking. So I had 2 bags in my big mug. Drank that right before bed. I don't think that induced me or caused me to go into labor. I'm just letting you guys know that I drank that. That isn't supposed to make you go to labor. It's just supposed to help strengthen your uterus, blah blah blah. I don't know if it's true, but I just got it just because. So I did that, and then I went to sleep. I woke up at, so that was the 21st. The next day, I woke up around like 3 a.m., a little past 3 a.m., and I felt cramping, like just felt like period cramps, but on steroids. It felt like a little bit more painful than a regular period cramp. And I was like, whatever. It just kept going. I had a few of them, like I had it for a little bit. I didn't know how long because I wasn't timing them at the time, but I felt it, and then it like stopped, and then I felt it again, and then it stopped, and then I felt it again. So after the third one, I was like, this might be contractions. because I was induced with my son, so I never felt the contractions. And even in the hospital, I didn't feel the contractions, even though they were happening. So I was just assuming that they were contractions, so I started to time them on my app. They just wouldn't stop. The week before all this happened, I had the same thing happen for about an hour, but then it stopped and I felt nothing. So I was just like, okay, maybe this is the same thing. Maybe it's just gonna happen for about an hour or two, and then it's gonna stop, and then I can go to bed because it was 3 a.m. So it went on. Adrian leaves for work around 4:30ish, a little past that, for work, and he saw me up and he was like, are you okay? And I'm like, yeah, I'm getting cramps. He's like, okay, well, let me know if you need anything. He was getting ready, he goes to the restroom, whatever, brush his teeth, get ready for work. Okay, so since I started timing them, I noticed that they were, and on average, they were about 8 minutes apart, and this went on for 3 hours. So when Adrian was leaving for work, he's like, are you okay? And I'm like, yeah, it's probably gonna stop soon. I'm gonna just try and get some rest. And he was like, okay, but just, you know, text me or call me if anything. And I honestly, 110%, I will tell you guys, I did not think I was gonna go into labor that day. So I was like, yeah, whatever, have a good day at work, I'll be fine, like I'm gonna go to sleep. And I had Jaden with me, obviously, so he was just sleeping in his own bed, and these contractions, they would not stop. They just kept going and going, and honestly, like after an hour, they just kept getting more and more painful. So I will insert screenshots of my contraction timer so you guys can kind of take a look at them, but on average they were about a minute to a minute and a half long, and eventually they got to like 7 minutes apart. I think that was like the closest that they were getting pretty painful. So once 5 a.m. hit, like that last hour of contractions, they were pretty unbearable. With Jaden, when I was around 6 centimeters dilated, once my water broke with Jaden, the contractions were so painful that I couldn't talk through them. The way I handle pain is I need to shut up. I need everyone around me to shut up, and I just kind of like push against things. That's just what I do. So that's what I remember doing with Jaden, and it got to the point around like 5 or 6 a.m. that, you know, this was like the 3rd hour that I was feeling these, and I remember starting to like push on the bed, and I was just like, I was kind of in pain, and it's only when the contraction's happening. So for that minute or minute and a half, I cannot do anything. Like it just feels like someone's stabbing me, and it's just like a pain I can't really describe, but it's not comfortable at all. Like it didn't feel like I was dying. It's just like a really bad period cramp on steroids. That's all I can really say to describe it, but it was just getting kind of bad. And I was like, okay, I just need to try and get some rest. There'd be like a period where it wouldn't come, another one wouldn't come back for like 10-15 minutes. So I was like, okay, cool, I'm in the clear, let's get some rest, lay down, close my eyes. At around, I'd say like 6:30, 6:40, I was like, yes, I'm gonna get some rest. I was like, these stupid period cramps or contractions, whatever, they're done. So I'm gonna go to bed. And I was trying to turn onto my left side because I constantly move side to side. So I was trying to lay on my left side, and then as I turned, I felt a gush, like a pop. The best way I can explain my water breaking, because it felt the exact same both times it happened to me. It just feels like you have like a water balloon between your legs, and it just like pops. It's not like a huge like gush, and then it just kind of feels like a little water bottle, and it just popped between your legs. Like that's what it felt like for me. So I felt that, and I was like, you know, I had to take a second to think about it, and I was like, did my water just break? Like did this really happen? Like what? I had to like kind of think about it. And yeah, it got, I don't know how, but it got all like on the side of my shirt. So I got up. It was very hard to get up, but I got up, walked myself to the restroom, sat on the toilet, and then I got a really painful contraction. I was like, this shit hurts so bad. I wanted to punch the door. Cleaned myself up, and I walked down the hallway and I was like, cool, this is getting real. I need to go to the hospital. I forgot to mention though, when I was standing up to walk to the restroom, I texted Adrian. I'll leave the screenshots here. I was like, yeah, I think I'm gonna go to the hospital because they're getting more painful. And then I was like, I think my water broke. And from there it just went super fast. So once I got out the restroom, I ran into Adrian's mom and I couldn't talk because I was just like getting a contraction, and I was trying to tell her, I was like, yeah, I need to go. I need to go. I was like, it's time, I need to go. And right away it was like crazy scrambling everywhere. I had my bags packed, but I wasn't ready. I was like trying to get my laptop and my camera, and it just went by so fast I didn't even get to vlog. You guys will really see, if you watch my labor delivery vlog, you'll see like it's kind of choppy because I had contractions 3 hours, my water broke, and then we were scrambling to get in the car on our way to the hospital. So I had texted Adrian, I texted my mom, I was like, don't freak out, but I think my water broke, I'm gonna go to the hospital. I didn't want her to freak out because my mom lives an hour away and I didn't want her to just drive over here, like rushing, driving over here and stuff, if it wasn't like gonna happen right away, which we didn't know. So it takes a good like 15-20 minutes, it felt like, to get in the car. Jaden woke up the second I walked back in from the restroom, and I felt like he knew what was going on because he came running to me and he was just like, mama. He was like, mommy, mommy, and he was like holding on to my leg, and I was like, hold on, Jaden. And I kept getting contractions every few minutes and I couldn't talk, I couldn't walk, I had to sit down, and Jaden was just like jumping on me, just trying to like sit with me, and I felt like he knew. It was really like, it was just like a hard feeling because I felt like, oh my god, like my son needs me and I'm gonna leave him right now. And normally he loves his grandma, he's glued to her and he doesn't want to leave her side, and she was calling him to like hold him and keep him distracted so I can like sneak out to run to the car and stuff, and he was screaming no, he didn't want to go with her, he wanted to stay with me. And that just made my heart hurt so bad because I was like, oh my gosh, like I think he knows. She just grabbed him. I went running to the car. Not literally, guys, I didn't run with my big ass belly, but you know, I tried to get in the car as fast as I could. And Adrian's sister, luckily she was here, she drove me to the hospital, and we weren't sure which hospital to go to, but there's a hospital, there was one in the city that Adrian works, so we went to that one just to be safe because we had no idea if there was gonna be traffic for him to go to the other hospital, or how fast I was gonna have this baby, which was very fast. And we were driving there and she was like talking to me, but like as we got closer to the hospital they got more painful and I just couldn't talk. So I was just like like mumbling to her, but I was not really paying attention at that point. I was just like holding on to the car as tight as I could, closing my eyes, trying to breathe. And she was driving as fast as she could on the freeway, and it was hilarious. Like, it was crazy. I had my camera in my hand the whole time, but I just couldn't stop. Like, I just felt all this pain. I couldn't stop just to turn the camera on. We get to the hospital. She pulls up to the front, jumps out of the car. Some employee that's like walking with his backpack, eating his breakfast. Like, you could tell he was like barely showing up to work. He saw me, and then a security from inside saw me, and they saw me like in pain. The security runs with a wheelchair. The employee's like, I got it, I'll take her to labor and delivery. I sit down and this guy's like pushing me as fast as he can. Get to the elevators. I'm like in so much pain. It's great. It's great. Like, I'm like out of it. Go up the elevator. The employee drops me off right in front of the little desk, and they're asking me these questions, and I'm like, no, like I need to be seen right now. Like, I'm in so much pain. My water broke at this time. So I told them like my water broke around 6:30, 6:40. By that time it was like 7:30. The nurses were taking their time and I was like in pain. So then finally one nurse is like, okay, why don't we get you in a gown and get you checked before we check you in, get your wristband and stuff, just in case. So they wanted me to put this gown on, and I literally was like putting the gown on. I had the pants, my pants to my knees, trying to pull them off in pain, and the nurse comes with this little like piece of paper to test, you know, they put it against your underwear to see if you have amniotic fluid, to make sure that your water broke. She's like, honey, this is dry. And I'm like, okay, well, my shirt is wet. She's like, how is your shirt wet? And she was laughing, and I was like, I'm in pain, I don't know, my shirt's wet. So she tests my shirt, and she's like, okay, that is amniotic fluid, so why don't we get you to a room and we can check how dilated you are once we start your IVs, blah blah blah. And I was like, okay, whatever. So they wheel me to the other room. I am in so much pain, guys, at this point. So I'm getting on the bed, and the nurses disappear for a few minutes, and I'm telling Adrian's sister, like, I'm in pain. And when I was in this much pain with Jaden, I was ready to start pushing, and I was just getting nervous. I get nervous, I get anxious. So finally a nurse comes in, and I'm telling her I'm in pain. I was like, I want the epidural, I need the epidural now, because I wanted the pain to stop, and I was just scared that I was going to end up having to push very soon, and I wanted the epidural for that. The nurses were like, okay, we're gonna check you first, we need to get your IV going, all this stuff before we can get the epidural, but once we do that, we'll go find the anesthesiologist and we'll get the epidural for you. And I was just not having it. I was like, please, I need the epidural now, like right now. And the nurses just kept insisting, we need to get your IV going first, blah blah blah. So she was looking for my veins, couldn't find them. So then she switches to the side, and I'm like, no, I need to push. I feel like I need to poop, I need to fart. Something is like causing me a lot of pressure right now. So the other nurse comes in, she's like, okay, cool, we'll check you. So they check me, and I was 9 centimeters. So that's when they all start rushing. And they're looking for the doctor, and they start like propping me up and stuff, and I couldn't handle it. So I was like, I need to push like now. And I at the same time though, I was still saying, like, I started getting really emotional, because I was like, I'm not gonna get the epidural, but I still wanted it, and I kept telling the nurse, I want the epidural, I need it. And she's like, yeah, you're not getting the epidural, honey, you're 9 centimeters, it's time to push. They were just waiting on the doctor. So you can hear all of this in my labor vlog, which is cringy for me to look back on. Like, it's kind of hard to hear myself in pain. So that was a really hard video to freaking edit. took me a while, but I survived. I got no epidural, no IV, there was no time for anything. I wasn't even checked in the system, I didn't have a wristband, nothing. And they were literally waiting for a doctor. I was like, where's this doctor? I need to push, I need this baby out of me now. If I'm not getting epidural, I just need a baby out of me now. And the nurse was like, okay, she's coming, just give us a minute, just wait. And I was like, I can't wait, I can't freaking wait. And I remember like feeling all this stuff coming out of me, and it felt disgusting. And I don't know, I thought it was like blood or something, but looking back at my footage, and once the nurse told me, she was like, yeah, no, you peed right before you pushed. And I was like, oh, that's embarrassing, that's gross. But she's like, no, it's good, you need an empty bladder for this. So literally I peed. So all that liquid that I felt coming out of me, yeah, that was like a storm of pee. It was a lot of pee. And then a few seconds after that, I was like, no, I need to push. So I was like trying to push, but the nurse was telling me, no, don't. So then a part of me was like, okay, trying to stop, but at the same time I couldn't stop. Like, my body was just pushing. And then the doctor runs in. Finally I can do a real push. This part's kind of a blur, guys, but like I just remember pushing, and I felt this pain, and I was like, what is that? What am I feeling? I don't know if it was like, I was like trying to figure out, is that her head? Is that her shoulders? Like, what am I feeling? Get that shit out of me. And within seconds, she was out. So, she was out. That was crazy. It happened so fast. Like, just one push and she was out. It does burn. I'm gonna be real with you guys, like after that shit burns down there a lot. It doesn't last forever, but for like a good hour, I'd say. It felt like it was burning, but after that they cleaned me up. I had one tear, it was 1st degree. I didn't really feel that. I just felt like the discomfort, and they sewed me up, and I had my baby on me, and it was just super fast from there. It was crazy, super unexpected. So let me give you guys a quick timeline, because I know I talked for a long time. Just to tell you guys that contractions started around 3 a.m. My water broke around 6:30ish. Got to the hospital around 7:30ish, and at 7:51 a.m. she was born. She weighed 7 pounds 0 ounces, so she was exactly 7 pounds, and she was 18.5 inches long, and she was born at 38 weeks and 3 days. She's doing great. She is a chunker. I don't want to go into specific details because I do want to film another update on her, which will probably be up either before or after this. It was just a crazy experience because I did not think I was going to go into labor that day, and I didn't think that it would be that fast. Like, it was so fast. It was like 4.5 hours, and from the second we got to the hospital till I had her, it was like 20 minutes. So yeah, everyone's cracking jokes at how fast it was. They're like, good morning, literally could have had this baby in the car if we freaking would have waited any longer to leave, because it was traffic, you know. It was a Tuesday morning. Like, people were trying to get to work and school, and I'm over here trying not to have my baby in the car or the elevator. It was crazy, but I mean, I wouldn't have asked for it any other way. I just am so thankful that it went by so smooth and we were both healthy. Like, I'm so thankful. And honestly, guys, it wasn't that bad. I mean, I didn't have any medication or epidural or anything, and I survived. In that moment, it was painful, but like, you know, once you have your kid, like, you forget all about it. So don't be scared of having a baby. Don't be scared of going into labor, guys. It's not that bad. Trust me, it's like all worth it. It really is. I'm just thankful though my labor wasn't that long. I know some people are in labor for days and days. I know Beauty Bird just had her baby, Yasmin, and she was in labor for like, I don't remember what it said. It was over 30 hours. I think it was like 40 something hours, which is insane. And it sucks that she was in labor that long, and she ended up having a C-section because her baby was so big, and she actually went past her due date. I think she was like 41 weeks, which is crazy because my due date was 1 day before hers. So it's just crazy how things work. But at the end of the day, her baby was healthy and they're both doing good, which is great. It's crazy. Like, our body is made for this, and it's awesome, you know. Don't be scared of it. It's a beautiful thing. It will be painful, but you got this. You guys got this. I have a few questions that I got on Instagram and then a few on YouTube and stuff, so I'm going to answer those regarding the labor and delivery. First question here is, did you feel the ring of fire? Girl, I think I did. I don't know. I felt some kind of a fiery burn right before she came out. I don't know if it was her head or her shoulders, but that shit burned. So I'm gonna say yes. I think I felt it. How was the pain? Also, how did your little one react to meeting his sister? The pain, it was painful, but even before having any kids, I honestly thought it would be like 10 times worse than what I felt. I'd say my pain level was maybe like at a 7 or an 8. That's what I'd say, because even when I was in the pain, I always, like, in my head thought it was gonna get even worse before she came out or before Jaden was born, you know, and it didn't. So I feel like it's not as bad as like we think in our heads. And Jaden's reaction, I got it on camera. He was not interested. He was like, whatever, don't care, whatever. Like, he was like ignoring her for like the first 2 days, honestly, but now he's obsessed with her. He always is just trying to hold her, hug her, kiss her, and he's just like always pointing at her saying baby, and he's like, hi baby, bye baby, you know. He loves her. He's like obsessed with her, a little too obsessed. Sometimes I'm like, okay Jaden, let her breathe, give her a break, like skirt skirt, you know. But he loves her so much. What was the worst part about it? Does it feel weird that doctors are like all up in there? Yeah. What was the worst part about it? The worst part, I feel like, was it being so unexpected, like with Jaden, I guess because I was induced, I kind of, like, I was freaking out, but I had time before Jaden was here. Her, yeah, no, she didn't give me any time. She was like, yeah, mom, I'm coming, and I'm not giving you any warning signals. Why is she so cute? Girl, I do not know. I don't know. I don't know. I'm not gonna question it. My kids are cute, and I'm not gonna question why they're so cute. I'm just gonna accept it and embrace that shit because they are just so adorable. Yes, I'm being an annoying mom bragging about how cute my kids are. How much pain did you have after the birth, and what was my favorite part about the birth? How much pain? So like the first hour or two, the cramping was pretty intense. I'd say it was still like at a 7 or 8, but after like those first 2 hours, I mean, I think it went down to like a 5 or 4, and then by like the next morning I was good. I think it was like a 2, so it wasn't too bad. But I was taking Motrin 600 milligrams, and I took that for about a week after having her. My favorite part about the birth, that it was only 1 push. That's great, because I was like traumatized to have no epidural and then have like freaking more than 3 hours pushing. Like that was gonna be scary for me, but it was only 1 push and it was done. So I think that was good, and obviously like meeting my little girl, that was great. What was them pushing on your stomach like, and how often did they need to? That was not fun. Not fun at all. No, like they literally get their 2 hands on top of your stomach and put all their weight, and they were just like pushing the shit out of my stomach, and it hurts. If you think when they're doing like little ultrasound and they have to like push with that little, I don't know my terms, but they're pushing on your stomach, yeah, it feels like probably like 10 times worse than that. Okay, so yeah, and it sucks because I guess the lower part of my uterus wasn't contracting, but the top was. So the bottom part was just, it wasn't contracting, or it wasn't contracting the way it should have been. So I was just bleeding for a good like hour after, and the nurse kept saying, okay, that's not good. So she kept pushing on my stomach, and then she had to keep checking. Eventually I was good and my uterus was doing its thing, but they had to keep pushing on my stomach like for that whole hour or 2, and then when they check you every few hours, they pushed on my stomach like maybe 3 times when they checked me those few hours, just to make sure that everything did look good. But the very first few pushes that they were doing, like right when she came out, yeah, those were like the most painful. Like I had to hold my breath, even though they say just breathe through everything. And then the last question I have here is, how easy or hard was it to breastfeed again? Was it like before, or was it new all over again? It was very easy. I don't know, it was just super easy this time around. I don't know if it's just because she was hungry and she was ready to latch, or if it was just because it was my second time. This is my second time around with breastfeeding, but with Jaden it was very difficult. The first like, you know, day or 2 in the hospital, I was getting so mad, especially when I had visitors and I was like struggling to try and get him to latch. Like it was just not working. You know, his mouth's so tiny, and my boob compared to his freaking head, it was just like too big, and it was just like frustrating because he wouldn't latch, and then when he would latch, he was not latched correctly. So my nipples were in pain, and it was just like not a comfortable situation. But I was like, no, I'm gonna breastfeed. No formula, no bottles, no, I got this. So I was just, you know, being consistent and keeping up with it. Was pretty painful like the first week or 2, so definitely highly recommend getting some kind of like balm. I just used the lanolin, the Lancino one, the purple tube. I just use that because it is safe. Like you don't have to wipe it off for the baby to eat and stuff. I just used that and it helped a ton. Yeah, the first 2 weeks with Jaden were very painful and difficult, but this time around, like, she latched right away and it was just so smooth sailing. Like I had no issues I'd say like the first like 3 days she was on the boob constantly. Like I had a lot of colostrum, so I was just like putting her on, keep switching sides, whatever, you know. My milk came in around like 4 days, and it's been smooth sailing, guys. I don't want to spoil it, but she's at like over 9 pounds now, and yeah, she's doing great. I will try and do a whole video on breastfeeding, so if you guys are interested in that, leave any questions down below, and I'll leave my old breastfeeding video that I made down below, but I'll do an updated one probably sometime soon. I just want to say, if you guys are struggling with it at all, or if you are pregnant and you feel like you might struggle, and if you're going through it and struggling, just don't give up. Don't feel pressured. Don't let anyone's opinion, you know, overrule yours. At the end of the day, if you want to breastfeed, you can do it. Just keep up with it, keep consistent, but don't feel bad about needing formula either. I never ever had to supplement with Jaden, and I'm hoping, and I'm sure I won't need to with this baby, but don't feel bad if you have to, because I know a lot of moms feel like guilty, or they get discouraged and then they give up on breastfeeding. So I feel like the key to breastfeeding is just keep with it, don't give up, stay positive, and yeah, if you need help, get help. See a lactation consultant, ask a friend, do your research. Like, if you don't want anyone to help, you can like look up videos, there's articles, there's lots of things you can do. So I say just stay positive though. I think that's like the #1 thing. Stay positive and consistent. Okay, I hope I covered everything about my labor and delivery. I'm not gonna go into like too much postpartum, because I already have a 1 week update on that video on my postpartum, and I want to make another one either when I hit 1 month or when I hit 6 weeks, once I'm cleared by my doctor, so I can give you guys all the detail and spill the tea on postpartum for you. So if you have questions on postpartum, leave them down below. I'm gonna make an entire video on that, but I think that's it. I'm gonna go because I talked for too damn long. So if you guys are interested in any pregnancy videos or any of the labor and delivery ones, everything's down below, so check that. If you guys like this content, if you aren't sick and tired of me yet, make sure to subscribe, give this video a thumbs up, and don't forget to turn on your post notifications too if you guys don't want to miss any videos. But we're very close to 700, which I'm so excited about. Thank you guys so much for all the new subscribers, but I will see you guys in the next video.